Hello, I'm Caroline Evans, Principal Policy Advisor at the National Transport Commission. I'm part of the team working on a review of the Heavy Vehicle National Law, the first of its kind since the law commenced in February 2014. The goal of this review is to deliver a modern, outcome-focused law for regulating heavy vehicle transport in Australia. We're currently consulting on a realistic set of policy options for the future law. These options cover access, fatigue, assurance, duties, regulatory tools, technology and data, and vehicles and roadworthiness. This short video will walk you through the options relating to fatigue management. The management of fatigue risk is a significant issue for operators and drivers of heavy vehicles. Fatigue is a factor in many crashes involving heavy vehicles, and ongoing fatigue can affect the physical and mental well-being of drivers. Driver fatigue management provisions in the HVNL law are based around fatigue duty, record keeping such as diaries, work and rest hours, and medical fitness. In the current HVNL, fatigue management is prescriptive, highly administrative, and the rules are complicated. It's also inflexible, not accounting for the varied risks and needs across operators, tasks, and regions. Fatigue management rules currently vary based on the type of heavy vehicle and the distance from its base, even though fatigue risk depends on the driver and how rested they are. Through the Heavy Vehicle National Law Review, the NTC has heard from many people that there are opportunities to improve the approach to fatigue management, and there is a need for a new approach that better aligns fatigue management with fatigue risk. This could not only make fatigue management simpler and deliver flexibility for drivers and operators, but also increase safety and productivity. A number of options are identified which seek to improve the HVNL's approach to fatigue by way of a new system of fatigue management and enabling a risk-based approach to managing fatigue. These options include fatigue management based on drivers, not vehicles. We have looked at some options to focus on the driver rather than the vehicle they are driving. Here, certain fatigue management requirements could apply to higher or lower fatigue risk drivers in order to better align fatigue management with the fatigue risk of drivers. Simplified record keeping for drivers and operators. There are many opportunities to make record keeping a lot easier. This includes reducing paperwork and administrative burdens and penalties associated with work diaries. Simpler work and rest hours. There are dozens of work and rest rules in the current HVNL, which could be reconsidered and adjusted to a smaller set of rules, which make it much simpler to comply with and bring flexibility. This involves managing fatigue in a simpler way through easier to understand rules. Regulator-approved schedules based on risk. This considers the capacity for the regulator to provide alternative schedules if your operations don't align to the prescriptive work hours, provided it is not excessive risk. New fatigue management options. This gets away from the notion of relying solely on work and rest hours and enables the recognition of technologies such as fatigue and distraction detection technologies, which so many operators have invested heavily in. Safety management systems. At the higher level, safety management systems take a broader recognition of how fatigue could be managed in a holistic system, which caters to drivers, operators, operations, and environments. This also provides a valuable alternative compliance option to certified operators. Driver medical standards and the right to stop if not fit to work are also options being investigated, which delivers flexibility to manage real-world delays and unforeseeable events for drivers. The future HVNL aims to make things easier for truck drivers and operators and improve safety. This means implementing more simplified versions of the existing National Written Work Diary or an approved electronic work diary may become the base requirement for higher fatigue risk drivers who do not make use of fatigue monitoring technologies. Additionally, options describing work diaries that have less administrative burden are easier to fill in or interpret because they are based on simplified work and rest hours and counting time requirements. For operators, the Heavy Vehicle National Law aims to recognise more flexibility through the use of fatigue and distraction detection technologies, which will not be unnecessarily constrained by prescriptive rules. Operators that meet a certain level of assurance could be able to operate under National Heavy Vehicle Regulator approved schedules to suit their operations. For these operators, fatigue will be managed through a comprehensive safety management system certified under an assurance framework. Additionally, the new law will allow alternatives to prescriptive work hour requirements and let operators develop their own schedules and ways of demonstrating compliance that suit their operations. We want to make it easy for you to get involved in HVNL review. As an alternative to a formal written submission, you can send your short form feedback on topics of interest or relevance to you. Visit hvnl.ntc.gov.au and select options for a future law across the top banner. Tell us which options you prefer and any other feedback you think we need to consider. Your input will be used to inform and shape policy options for consideration by ministers next year.